Sonoma is not just another date on the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. It is one of the clearest pressure points of the regular season because there is no automatic safety net anymore. NASCAR has moved away from the win and in playoff structure and returned to the chase format for the 2026 season. That change means drivers cannot rely on one victory to erase months of inconsistency. It also means several major names are entering this weekend in vulnerable positions. Shane van Gisbergen, Joey Logano, and Brad Keselowski are all at or below the cut line, and that puts former champions and proven race winners in direct danger with only 9 races left before the field is set. As of right now, no driver has clinched a spot, not one. That is the starting point for the entire standings battle, and it is why Sonoma carries more weight than a normal road course weekend. Under this system, it is the top 16 drivers in the regular season standings who advance, and they move into a 10-race stretch that functions like a mini-season of its own. The most important detail is that this final 10-race run carries no eliminations. NASCAR's playoff committee and leadership moved away from the elimination-style bracket and returned to a format built around cumulative performance over the final 10 races. Once the 16-driver field is set, the standings are wiped and rebuilt on a sliding scale. The regular season champion starts the chase with 2,100 points. The second seed starts at 2,075, the third at 2,065, the fourth at 2,060, and then the total drops by 5 points per position down to 2,000 for the 16th and final qualifier. That means the gap between the regular season champion and the last driver in is only 100 points before the reset. NASCAR also increased the value of a race win to 55 points, while stage points remain unchanged. NASCAR President Steve O'Donnell explained the logic directly, saying, "I think when you looked at the win-in, it would be hard to argue that it didn't change the way the drivers raced. That format has created 2 separate fights at the same time. The first is the battle for the number 1 seed, where Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin remain the central names. The second is the battle around the cut line, where the drivers from roughly 13th through 20th are one strong or poor race away from changing places. 9 races remain in the regular season to settle who gets in. The schedule is Sonoma, Chicagoland, Atlanta, North Wilkesboro, Indianapolis, Iowa, Richmond, New Hampshire, and Daytona. Every one of those tracks tests a different strength, and because there is no clinched driver yet, the standings remain fully active from the top of the table to the bubble. The strongest group currently includes 9 drivers who are at least 114 points above the cut line. At the very top is Tyler Reddick, who sits 354 points above the cutoff. His season began with one of the most productive starts in series history, including a Daytona 500 win and 3 consecutive victories to open the year. Reddick said, "Definitely after win 5, it was like, wow, this is crazy." He also added, "We ran second a couple of weeks ago in Pocono and had a shot of winning this past weekend." Right behind him, Denny Hamlin is right there at 346 points above the cut. Hamlin's 4 wins are the most in the field, and the revised 55-point reward for a victory has kept him in range in the seed race. Ryan Blaney is 221 points above the line, supported by 12 top 10 finishes, tied with Reddick for the series lead. Kyle Larson sits 174 points above the cutoff and leads all drivers with 150 stage points, which shows how often the Hendrick Motorsports team has been in scoring position. Ty Gibbs is 173 points above the line with his first career Cup victory and 6 top 5 finishes, although 4 DNFs have limited a larger gap. Chase Elliott is 172 points clear with 2 wins already this season. Chris Buescher is 138 points above the cut despite having no race win and no stage win, relying instead on consistent finishes. Daniel Suarez is 116 points up, and Carson Hocevar is 114 points above the line with a victory, 4 top 5s, 7 top 10s, and no DNFs. None of those drivers are mathematically safe, but each has created meaningful separation. The next group is above the line, but it is not secure. Chase Briscoe sits 69 points above the cutoff. He has not won a race or a stage, and that keeps his margin smaller than expected for a Joe Gibbs racing driver. Bubba Wallace is 67 points above the line after 2 runner-up finishes in his last 3 starts, which helped stabilize a season that had drifted toward the bubble. Christopher Bell sits 60 points above the cut. Bell's position is more complicated because of the broken left wrist that has already raised questions about whether he will need a relief driver after taking the green flag. William Byron is 59 points above the line and still searching for his first win of the year after an inconsistent first half. Then the margins get even tighter. Eric Jones is only 10 points above the cutoff. Austin Cindric is 8 points above the cut. Ryan Preece holds the final spot above the line by just 5 points. Those numbers are small enough that a pit road penalty, a missed stage, or a single crash can change the order immediately. Below the cut line, the most urgent case belongs to Shane van Gisbergen. Shane van Gisbergen sits just 5 points below the cutoff. His crash at Naval Base Coronado cost him a major road course scoring opportunity and dropped him to 17th in the standings. That makes Sonoma one of the most important races of his season because it is one of the best remaining tracks for him to recover. Van Gisbergen said, "I know I have a good opportunity to win the race and we will look at the points after." He also said, "Need to get some momentum going again and hopefully this weekend starts it and puts us in a good position for the last few races." Directly behind him is a former champion with far more playoff experience. Joey Logano is 10 points below the line. Logano is a 3-time Cup champion, and although the standings position is weak, his record under pressure prevents any early dismissal. Brad Keselowski sits 13 points below the cut. The scale of that drop is important because he was 55 points above the line only 4 races ago. That means the fall was fast, but it also shows how quickly the standings can swing back in the other direction for an RFK racing team that has shown speed at various points of the season. The rest of the chasing group is still close enough to matter, but the urgency is increasing. AJ Allmendinger is 21 points below the cutoff and needs more stage points to build momentum. Michael McDowell is 34 points below the line, and Sonoma is one of his clearest opportunities because of his road course record. Ross Chastain is 40 points back and comes in with back-to-back top 10 finishes. Zane Smith is 51 points below the cut after gaining 21 points on the line with a 4th-place finish at Coronado. Riley Herbst is 58 points back after gaining 26 points in the same race through stage points and an 8th-place finish. Todd Gilliland is 61 points back. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is 64 points out and may need to be close enough for Daytona to become a true last-race rescue attempt. John Hunter Nemechek is 69 points below the line, and Austin Dillon is 97 points back. The scoring math matters here. With a maximum of 76 points available in one race, large deficits can still shrink, but drivers deeper in this group are moving toward a must-win type of position even though wins no longer guarantee entry. A final group remains on the board mathematically, but the path is extremely narrow. Noah Gragson is 151 points below the line. Josh Berry is 159 points back. Ty Dillon is 165 points out and still does not have a top 10 this year. Alex Bowman is 168 points back after missing 4 races because of vertigo earlier in the season. Cole Custer is 173 points below the cut and, like Dillon, still seeks his first top 10. Connor Zilisch is 202 points back after failing to finish 6 of the opening 17 races. Cody Ware is 215 points below the cutoff. No driver in this group has been mathematically eliminated, but they need a major points reversal combined with mistakes from multiple teams ahead of them. The remaining schedule is a major part of the story because each track rewards a different skill set. Sonoma favors road course specialists such as Van Gisbergen and McDowell. Richmond and New Hampshire place more value on precision, braking, and long-run execution. Atlanta and Daytona introduce drafting variables that can create large swings quickly, especially for drivers trying to gain dozens of points in one afternoon. NASCAR's format change was designed to keep all of those races relevant. As Steve O'Donnell said, one of the things with Win-N-In that we didn't think about that ultimately happened was we wanted every race to matter, and that didn't happen with Win-N-In, right? That point is visible in the current standings. The regular season leader still has work to do, the bubble drivers are scoring every stage like it is elimination week, and the former champions below the line are entering each race with direct consequences attached. That is why the next 9 races are likely to reshape the entire field. The battle for the top seed between Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin remains active. The final few transfer spots are changing hands within margins of 5, 8, and 10 points, and specialists at tracks like Sonoma and Daytona still have opportunities to force movement around the bubble. If you are tracking the chase race every week, this is the point in the season where the standings need constant attention. Let us know which driver you think is most at risk and which one is best positioned to rally, and if you want more NASCAR coverage like this, make sure to subscribe and like the video.